And so they have also, well, as our country, most of the cities, they have a problem with aging population, so they want to keep people active and independent at home. So they asked us if we could have some kind of project to, well, just monitor if people are doing well or not without being too invasive and without breaking their privacy. So, and the positive side of these areas now is we also have some hardware developers, so we kind of have all the technology around. So we just reach for the colleagues from the health school just to, well, be with us, just to do the part of which kind of signals we should try to look for and how to measure the well-being of someone.
The area of the project is active aging and self-management of health. The main goal is empowering the hospitalized patients and support a continuous care in hospital and integration back in family and communities. The strategies are actions that focus on a better integration. And the expected impact is to improve the quality of cost effectiveness of healthcare services, and we are trying to work with other organizations in this area. This is more an idea of a project and not a final one.
Develop a program of comprehensive approach of the elderly, which goes beyond the conventional clinical approach of each person, looking at the elderly as in an holistic approach, going from the physical components, the functionality, physical functionality, the psychological domain, the cognitive function, social context, and also the ecological context of living of the elderly. In that way, we think we can, involving our students from each scientific component of the school, we think we can do a proper diagnosis of the elderly individually, and then tailor the intervention in order to minimize the functional impairment of the person, to prevent cognitive decline of the elderly patient, and so on.
In our country and local, national, and maybe worldwide is the same question that you already presented. It is related to cognitive impairment and to functionality, and we have three different approaches to this kind of problem. Because we have neurocognitive impairment, people that is mild cognitive impaired, others that are more or less cognitive impaired, and others are deeply and major cognitive impairment. So we have three programs, and the three programs are well, designed to each of one of these states. And we already piloted one of these programs. The other one is we have some evidence, and the other one we are piloting this kind of project. I think it's we need some kind of ICT approach also, that we can here start some connections. We also have a lot of partners within the clinical practice where we have our students, and it is the place where we used to pilot this kind of programs. I have lots of doubts, and they are related to the evidence-based practice or the practice-based evidence, because we already tested and we published and we have the evidence produced, and now we need to spread this kind of approach, this kind of interventions in the central region of Portugal, and maybe in the country. And I also have some doubts about how can this be connected with some international faculties of applied sciences.
What can you do with those students? Let's start from there. Let's start from courses. Let's see how we can involve students from that course to do interdisciplinary projects, meaning that the problem can be in the interdisciplinary itself. So they will have to do some extra research or some additional work, maybe something like that.
And I think that for this to work, and if it's multidisciplinary, all the students have to be involved since the beginning of the project. So the engineers, the plastic people, the health people, they have to gather together and be involved in the conception and design of the whole thing. Otherwise, it won't be project-based learning. It would be like fraction project-based learning.
You can also take advantage of the projects, some tasks actually, and then give it in your courses in classes to the students. Okay, my students, you have to do this, all of you, 30 of them, divide them in 4 groups or something and tell them, okay, this is a task. We need to help the research project, you're going to get evaluated, you need to work in teams, you need to organize your own learning, you're going to have peer assessment or define it in your own way. I think that's how you can
have people, and you have to, it's necessary to have a very clear agreement with the stakeholders to engage them on the project. So the project must be much more than...
In my institution nowadays, whenever we establish a protocol, that's how we call it, with a company to develop any kind of device, all those issues about intellectual property and so forth are already put in the agreement by our unit, our legal department. So we actually don't necessarily worry about that. We have the legal department deal with it, and the procedures are more or less standard. Of course, some stakeholders won't take that.
What we have been doing is, over the last year, we have been working with 9 companies, ceramic companies in Barcelos. You all heard of Barcelos. And these 9 companies appear to have very similar needs and problems. In fact, one problem is energy expenditure, another is the amount of human resources needed because it's a manual labor. But they have all a clear and identified issue, which is they are unable to produce their own products. They are just subcontractors. Big brands send them designs and say, produce this, and they sell at very low profit margins. And we all know that Portugal has a history of doing this, of producing for other countries products which are sold, relabeled, and then sold. So these companies want to grow in the value chain. Okay, so what we propose to do here is really not to design one object for one of these companies, but it is to think about a methodology, a procedure, a set of guidelines that will help these companies get where they need by identifying how and which type of services they need at which step of the development process.
So, value from design, so it's really the business model behind it, not only design for design. That's cool. And I would advise you to think even more out of the box. In Friesland we have Atelier ceramics, a very small company, and they hired for many years now the best industrial designer we have, and together they are quite good in export. They can beat the Chinese. So it's interesting to think also of the next step. But I like this a lot, and I hope you have a lot of students that help you to create this methodology and a lot of examples.
It's good that you have several companies on board. My main question is also how to catch the results of the project, not only for those companies when they come up with perhaps a commercial, their own ceramics company that can sell instead of them having to sell to foreigners, and they're making all the profits, but also how to make this knowledge more widely available to other stakeholders or comparable or even different industries. So perhaps you could think of a more incremental change, which this sounds a little bit like. And perhaps there is also a way to come up with some really radical change in this field of expertise.
I agree very much what you said on the vision. That's very important also, no, to develop new visions of traditional industries in Portugal. No? And also, if you can say something, how important is also the impact in terms of, let's say, job creation of all these proposals.
I think the main reason why the minister wants this new direction is, well, to put it blunt, because your country needs it. I had some discussion during the lunch with some colleagues, and my impression is that your educational system is a little bit locked in itself. So you grow up there, you study there, you get a job there, and you have to behave in a certain way to go higher. But then, if everybody is trained in a rather traditional way, your students will also come in a very traditional way, and then your companies will not be very innovative, because you will only learn to do exams instead of coming up with new radical solutions that will change the world. And I think if you want to compete in 2016 in this big world, where everything goes very fast, you need to train people that are very fast in getting new knowledge, and not so much in learning existing knowledge. So for me, the goal would be to contribute to, let's call it a knowledge society. And a knowledge society for me is not learning how to do exams, but to be very fast in getting new knowledge that is not yet even available, and to translate it in business or other innovations which are useful to society.